John Fredericks Media Network and the John Fredericks radio apps, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, coming to you live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Scene of where we're trying to get these 2 seats. It's not 2, it's 20. Got to grow a spine. We need 3 votes. We got to get them. If you don't vote, if you're a Republican and you vote no, you can kiss your Senate seat goodbye. Have a nice life. Enjoy your private sector stuff. Go play with your grandkids. We don't really care. You're going to get turfed out. MAGA Inc. has got a $1.2 billion. You think you're going to vote no? And like, we're going to say, pat you on the head and say, okay, thank you for your time. Chris LaCivita will be staying here at the JW Marriott, and you will lose your primary big. But hey, that's what you want. It's all good, right? We're not messing around. They're not messing around. We're not messing around. It's about time we brought a bazooka to a tank fight, because that's what we got on our hands here. I keep saying it because that's what it is. Our opposition here is fierce. They take no prisoners. We can't be pussyfooting around. Speaking about taking no prisoners, live in Indiana, I'm going to go to Congressman John Rose, District 6, Tennessee. John Rose running for governor. And looks like he'll be running against Marsha Blackburn when she finally gets in. That's what everybody thinks is going to happen. So that's going to be an uphill battle, but he's a fighter, and he's with us now. John, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being with you, John. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
You know, I love Marsha. We all do, but she's not announced officially, and you have. So you got a leg up, and you're building a coalition. Before we get to agriculture and things like that you're dealing with right now, representative in the House, everybody's telling me if Blackburn gets in, she'll get 70% of the vote. How do you reconcile that?
Well, I think she does currently have more name identification in Tennessee than I do. She just ran for re-election last fall to a 6-year term in the United States Senate. And, you know, obviously when you run a statewide race, you develop more name identification, but we'll fix that when we have the, when we get closer to election and we have the resources to do that. So I think the real issue here is who is qualified to be the governor of Tennessee. Senator Blackburn is a career legislator, a career member of the Congress. That's all she knows. That's all she's done. The job of being governor of Tennessee is being the CEO of the state, like President Trump. You know, I have that experience of building and running businesses successfully. And I think Tennesseans have demonstrated in the past with all the successful governors that we've elected during my lifetime that that's what we're looking for in our governor. So I think the people of Tennessee, when they see the choice between me and Senator Blackburn, if she runs, they'll make the choice that they've made time and again in the past.
I think you're right, Congressman. I think once Marsha gets in, and no disrespect, but she's better looking than you are, so she got a leg up there. But I think once she gets in, things will tighten, because then you have to start talking about what you're going to do, and it's just not name ID. So I do agree with that. I think it's going to definitely tighten.
Well, and obviously, you spend a lifetime in Washington, you start to lose touch with what everyday Tennesseans want. And I think we saw that recently with this crooked Senate pay package that the Senate snuck into the continuing resolution to reopen the government. And, they seem to be tone deaf about that. They somehow seem to think that because they were harmed, these 8 senators, that the American taxpayer should dig into their pocket and hand them potentially millions of dollars. And I think that underscores, when you spend a lifetime in Washington, you kind of lose touch with what the folks back home want. And so, thankfully, Senator Blackburn has now disavowed that she will seek those damages. Obviously, Senator Lindsey Graham still saying he will do that. I don't think punishing taxpayers for the wrongs of the Biden administration and the overreach of the Biden Justice Department is the right answer. We certainly need to dig into that and investigate that. And there needs to be, sanctions and deterrent for rogue prosecutors going after innocent Americans. But for goodness sakes, they didn't even include the president in that, or any of the J6ers or others who've been wrongly pursued by the Biden Justice Department. Just the 8 of them, kind of a good old boys and girls club, did it in the dark of night, snuck it into the provision, didn't even tell the Speaker of the House that it was there.
Well, let me ask you this. We're with John Rose, Congressman, Tennessee, District 6 Republican. John's running for governor of Tennessee. Bill Lee is termed out, and so he's not going to be running for re-election. Obviously, this is going to be decided next spring in a Republican primary, as we just saw with the special we had in Tennessee 7 and all that good stuff. And Blackburn expected to run, that Senator Blackburn as well. But John, you're positioning yourself as an outsider, but you're in Washington too.
Well, I have been for the last 6.5, now almost 7 years, but I spent my career in the private sector as a farmer and a business person, still operate a business, still creating jobs, still signing the front side of a paycheck. And so that's a very big difference. And I think the people of Tennessee will see that. They'll understand that I have that experience. You know, the founders wanted people like me and average, everyday Americans to go to Washington, serve for a season, and come home. And so I'm doing that. But I think I still have some service left in me. And I think my experiences qualify me to be and equip me to be capable of being a good governor for the people of Tennessee.
So, John, the entire Tennessee political consultant apparatus, the apparatchiks, everybody I talk to is on the Blackburn bandwagon. Now, she comes on my show a lot. I'm a dear friend of hers. She's a lovely woman. But the entire consultant class there, Ward Baker, they've all lined up with her. I mean, how do you defeat that? That's like a machine. I mean, that's like a juggernaut.
Sure. Well, that has happened before. Just 8 years ago, we had a couple of candidates who were considered to be the favorites, and Bill Lee won. So that at the end of the day, it's not endorsements or well-informed politicos or those people who, have an economic incentive to be for the right person. They sometimes get it wrong. They got it wrong 8 years ago, and I think they're going to get it wrong again. We're blessed. My family and I have been blessed. We've been successful in business. And so we have the resources to put up a good campaign. We've raised a lot of resources from Tennessee. So it's not every person. And what I hear quietly is Tennesseans who know that Senator Blackburn, though capable as a legislator, is not particularly well equipped to be the governor of Tennessee. She's never had executive experience in her entire life. And so, we can't afford as a state to have a governor who has to learn on the job. And so, I think when you unpack all that, when we get to Election Day, and there's a long time until August 6th. And so when we start to up my name identification, I think you're going to see Tennesseans coming my way. And when Tennesseans come my way, you're going to see a lot of people running to try to get to the head of the line and take credit for being for John Rose. And we've seen this happen in the past. It will be, perhaps you might say, a replay. And it's not every well-informed, consultant, political class person that's doing that. We have plenty of those folks who support me as well. So I think we'll be in a good place when the time comes.
John, let's get to what's going on in Congress right now. I know this is, you're running for governor, but a lot of us are very concerned about the midterms and about the messaging right now, the affordability issue, prices. You're on the Agriculture Committee. A big announcement yesterday, President Trump giving billions of dollars to farmers in a lot of different ways. Give me your reaction to that and how that's going to help.
Sure. I think that the president's program that they announced yesterday, the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, that's going to bring $12 billion in emergency assistance that will get to farmers this spring is sorely needed. Whether that's enough, I think, is a question, because this has been very tough times for row crop agriculture all across the country, including right here in Tennessee. Commodity prices down significantly for row crops and commodities, while costs, like every American know, have gone up dramatically because of the Biden inflation. And so that puts farmers in a very tough spot. And then when you add to that, and of course, this is part of what's creating that cost price squeeze, is that President Biden did not negotiate a single trade deal for agriculture in his 4 years. He didn't even try. And so we see President Trump working on that. So this proposal, I think, is sorely needed and will be of assistance to farmers. We're losing farmers right now. And I think the American people need to understand that the situation economically in farm country is so tough that you're seeing longtime farmers just folding their tents, packing it in, if you will, and saying they just can't continue to make it work. And so we've got to do something. And I think this is, we did a lot with the One Big Beautiful Law, but that assistance doesn't really start to arrive until later in the next year. So I think this bridge assistance is going to be important to keep agriculture on its feet until we get other improvements. Now, the president's working hard to open markets, and we've already seen tremendous success there. And the president's also working to lower costs that will not only benefit farmers, but will benefit every American.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. I'm live in Indianapolis today, right outside of the Indiana State Capitol. Also, we just heard Senator Mike Young, State Senator, Indiana. He'll be joining us at the 9:30 hour live here on the Trump bus outside of the Capitol. We're with Congressman John Rose, Congressman Tennessee, Republican 6th District on the Agriculture Committee. John also running for governor of Tennessee. That'll be in the 26th election. That primary is in August in Tennessee. So it's a long way off. Got a lot of time, John, between now and then. Let's get to one thing you're going to have to deal with like now is these Obamacare subsidies. You know where I stand on it. I'm for extending them for a year until you guys figure out a health plan, because if people get sticker shock on January 2nd and their bill goes from $500 to $1,000, they don't care about Obamacare. They don't care what happened in 2010. They don't care about the government shutdown. All they know is their price doubled, and you know who they're going to blame? You. That's the way it works. Tell me your position on that and how we bridge this gap in 2026.
Well, I think it's important to remember that whatever we do, the current premium tax subsidy that we're talking about affects about 7% of Americans. So it's a fairly narrow slice. Now, lots of Americans, including me and probably you, are going to see our premiums go up, but that's unrelated to this, other than that it's all a part of the Affordable Care Act, which has failed miserably to control or limit the increase in health costs, and particularly health insurance costs. It's also important to remember that the premium tax credit money, $40 billion, goes to the insurance companies, not to the insureds, not to the American people, not to those who are needing help with their health care. And so I think you have to look at it through that prism and realize that even if this was extended, you're still going to see the massive increases in premiums that the Affordable Care Act has led to and failed to stop or to remediate. And so we do have to figure out a broader solution, because we can't continue to see the cost of healthcare rise so dramatically for Americans. But you're right. I think your underlying premise is right. When things go badly, the American people are going to have an overwhelming tendency to blame the party that's currently in power, even though, you know, you could argue that President Trump's only had 10 months to work on these problems. It's also important to remember that the Democrats set this up. They passed this twice, put this extension of the premium tax credit in place back during COVID, extended it once, set the expiration date for December 31st of this year. And that's what you're seeing happen. So they set the stage for this. They are the ones who engineered this, and they're the ones who passed Obamacare in the first place, the Affordable Care Act, that has led to these runaway costs for health care.
Yeah, but none of that's going to matter when you get the bill in the mail, John. I mean, that's all great narrative, and I agree with all of it. But I also deal in the real world. I'm right here in Indianapolis, where we're in a fierce battle to get 2 seats. I mean, the opposition, John, it's dug in, and they're nasty, and they're fierce. And so they're going to utilize any increase that they're going to hammer you guys over the head with a sledgehammer. Look, we went through this in 2018, right? Where you guys were trying to change Obamacare. People were coming out saying, oh, my mother's going to die. I mean, we've been through this. That narrative doesn't work. Now, here's my question. On your vote, Jen Kiggins, your colleague in Virginia Beach, has a bill, extend it and then figure it out. Rick Scott comes out with a plan. This drove me nuts 2 days ago. Oh, I got a plan to fix Obamacare. Let's pass it in 8 days. Well, you had 10 months. I mean, it's infuriating, John, and it's nonsense. So the question is, you got 2 weeks. What are you guys going to do?
Well, I think you're right. I think ultimately the answer is going to be that we have to have some sort of an extension here, hopefully with some reforms that fix some of the real significant problems with the premium tax credit, where you have people who are receiving these premium tax credits or the ultimate beneficiaries of them that don't even know it. And we've seen significant evidence of that around the country. So there are some things that we can resolve. So I think an extension of some sort probably is what's in the cards. We'll see if there is the support to get that done. But I think that makes some sense to buy some time and look for a way to effectuate a better solution going forward for the American people.
So it's a reasonable position you're taking. John Rose, let me ask you another question. I'm very dialed in to younger people. It's a big part of our network is the Zoomer network. You know, they went for Trump in massive numbers in 24, and it was basically opportunity, future prosperity, growth, jobs, things of that nature. They tired of the woke stuff, but we're losing him now. And the two things that I keep hearing, and it's almost 100%, is Epstein files, and they're sick of Israel. Sick of Israel. And we're losing Zoomers on those two issues. How do we solve that, John Rose?
Absolutely, and understand what you're saying. So I would say, with respect to the Epstein files, again, the answer is ultimately that those individuals, we have to work hard to educate them, help them remember and understand. And now Congress has voted overwhelmingly to release the Epstein file information, even though that may not have been precisely the right vote for reasons that we can discuss if you'd like to. But I think we have to remember that this is pure political theater, and even those young Americans, I think if we talk about that and point that out, the Democrats were in charge of the Epstein information. They had full control of it for the 4 years of the Biden administration, and not a peep. They didn't say a word. And so I think it's about us communicating. I think every American is smart enough to understand that the Democrats have just been gaming this situation as it relates to the Epstein information. It's been Republicans that have been working to get that information out. And I think that now that information is going to be fully out there, for better or worse, and even though the House had been working diligently under the leadership of James Comer to get that information out, we'll see if there's anything there. But the truth is there's not, because if there had been, Democrats would have taken maximum advantage of it to go after President Trump during.
Well, there's certainly nothing in there to implicate the president.
That's
because,
right.
John, you nailed it without question. If they had anything on Trump, Harris, Biden, DNC would have released it last October. We all know that. But there might be other powerful people on it, both sides of the aisle. And I think that's what young people, they don't want two sets of rules, one for us and the other one for the rich and famous and the tech bros and all that stuff and high-fluting politicians. So we're going to solve that by just getting it out, and then the issue goes away. Israel. I hear, John, every single day from young people, Israel fatigue. They're sick of Israel. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to give them any money. Just want out. How do we solve that?
Well, again, I think the president's policies have led us in the right direction. I mean, he miraculously, I would say, has negotiated I understand it's a tenuous peace, but a peace where the hostages have come home. And we have to then educate. We have to continue to message and educate the American people, particularly young people who have in some cases been indoctrinated to believe that Hamas is somehow the victim here, when in fact they're the perpetrator of the most heinous, terrible, scurrilous attack on Israel. And I think the American people need to understand that. I think young people in particular need to understand who the bad guys are here.
I think they do. That's not, but John, I just want to be, I'm trying to get this message out. Because like I talk to these kids all the time. And the kids that are turning on us, when I say on us, on the Trump administration, they're turning on us not because they're pro-Palestinian, they're pro-Hamas, there's Palestinian flags. They're just sick of it. I had two kids ask me, I want a president of the United States, not a president of Israel. This is a real issue with our young people. They have Israel fatigue. They're sick of it. And it's not about messaging. They're just sick of it. Netanyahu's going to the White House again. It's another 2 days of photo ops. People want jobs. They don't care about Israel. And I mean, this, I'm telling you, John, this is a real issue we have, and we're not dealing with it.
And I hear that. And again, I think, you inherit what you inherit in politics and in the political realm. And certainly President Trump inherited a lot of conflict around the world. He's ended 8 wars. And I think you see this is a president who ran on getting the United States out of these situations. But you can't just do it on a dime. You have to take the time to get these things done. And obviously the conflict in the Middle East, the conflict with Israel has been going on for decades. Some would say thousands of years. But the president has made great progress there. And so I think I would say to young people, you may not like to brush your teeth every day, but you better do it. And you better get used to doing it. And so we have to take care of business. The president is doing that. This is a president who ran on getting us out of these foreign entanglements. And I think he was tapping into that disquiet that you're talking about with Americans, not just young Americans, but all Americans, that we may ought to stay home and take care of our own business first. And the president has been doing a great job at that. We've seen prices coming down, inflation coming down, and affordability going up. And this president will, I think, continue to take on those challenges. And certainly the Congress is taking on those challenges. And so we've seen things like that I think are very tangible. Like I just filled up this weekend in Tennessee for $2.23 a gallon, with gas prices all across this country under $3. When the money that you're laying out at the pump, and this applies to young people as well, to fill up your car with gas, when it goes down that much, it puts a lot of money in your pocket, and that starts to solve a lot of other problems.
Well, John Rose to young people says, hey, eat your spinach. You'll feel better. Probably not bad advice. I like spinach. Brush your teeth, all that good stuff. But John, I got to tell you this. Here's why I love having you on. We can talk about anything. You were on here for a half hour. Like, nobody does that that's running for governor. They're all afraid of a gotcha question, or they're going to get trapped, or they say, no, John comes on. There's no agenda. There's no, these are the topics. And this is why I wouldn't count you out in this governor's race, John. I wouldn't count you out. You know how to talk to people and have an open dialogue. And I really, really appreciate the spirited discussion and the time. Now, I gave you and me a break. I didn't talk about how pathetic the Titans are, which I normally do when you're on. We suck, but we did beat Cleveland. So, John, there's hope. We're going to get another number 1 draft pick. So we just keep getting number 1 draft picks, and eventually we got to win 5 games, right?
That's right. That's the one advantage of losing in the NFL, is you get the best choice of the players for that season.
Oh, God. Meantime, Amy is your owner, our owner, I guess, Amy Adams, trying to charge me a $5,000 licensing fee for a season ticket for a new stadium funded by the taxpayers of Nashville, with a team that's won 5 games in 2 years. What? Amy, I love you, but you've destroyed the team. And it's basic economics, right? When your product is no good, your prices go down. They don't go up. So I'm supposed to pay $5,000 for a licensing fee to the new stadium to get 1 season ticket, which is then another several $1,000s. So I'm supposed to pay $8,000 for a season ticket to a team that's won 5 games in 2 years. It's like, what? Tell me the economic model here that I'm missing.
Well, I think, they're depending on people who love seeing professional sports on Sundays, and they're probably.
Oh, come on. You can't, you can't give that answer. Here's the thing. We suck. Amy's destroyed the team. Titans fans are pissed, and I'm not paying $5,000 license fee, and it's highway robbery. And a lot of Titans fans are mad, John. And so it would be interesting in your platform if you just mandate it, because she could say, oh, it's a private company. They can charge what they want. No, Congressman. Nashville residents are paying for that stadium. Okay.
Well, and Tennesseans.
And Tennessee, the whole state's paying for the stadium, and we got to pay $5,000 license fee for a crappy product. Although I do like Cam Ward, I do think he's the future. Enough about that, John. People want to follow you. Where do they go?
JohnRose.com, JohnRose.com. You can link to all of our social media, see what we're doing on our website, keep up with where I'm going across the state. Been to all 95 counties, and we'll be there again, crisscrossing the state, meeting Tennesseans, listening to what they want for the future of Tennessee, because that's what matters. It's not what I want. It's not what some career politician wants. It's what Tennesseans want for the future of our state.
Did Vanderbilt get screwed not getting into football?
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they blew out Tennessee. They blew them out. Basically, Vanderbilt's the new sheriff in town. I mean, they blew them out at home. In fact, they didn't punt one time. How do you go through a game with 100,000 fans against a ranked team and not punt the ball one time? They had 2 turnovers.
It's an exciting team to watch too, and would have made great television. So I think the whole nation is missing out.
You guys got the shaft, dude. John, thanks for being with us. Again, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
JohnRose.com.
All right, John.
Thanks, John.
As always. See you soon. We'll be right back. Sheriff Clark next.